Welcome to the Rewire and Thrive podcast. I am your host, Laura Stiles, clinical hypnotherapist and parent coach at The Mindful Generation. You're in the right place if you're ready to transform your mind, break cycles, and reclaim your power for a life of purpose and freedom. Let's dive in. Hi everyone. Today I am joined by Jenna Holloway, a business mentor and mindset coach who helps impact-led business owners scale without sacrificing their time, energy, or peace. As a mum of unidentical twin girls, Jenna knows firsthand the unique challenges of twin mum life. In this episode, we'll dive into her experience and explore how nurturing confidence through role modelling, alongside lots of other things, can have a profound impact on our children. This is a conversation that you are not going to want to miss. So here we go. Okay, welcome everyone. I have Jenna with me today. Jenna is awesome. She is a fellow hypnotherapist, but also a business coach. And I cannot wait to speak to Jenna today about parenting girls and the journey that she has been on with raising twins. How old are your girls, Jenna?
They turn 6 in January.
Oh, okay. So 6-year-olds. Okay. So I'm just trying to think, like, is that a tricky age? But I think that was quite a nice age for me when my eldest was 6. It's so
It's an absolute walk in the park compared to anything that's come before. So yeah, it's lovely. Obviously, every age comes with their challenges, but
yeah.
it's a doddle compared to what we've been through.
Yeah, I feel like 4 and 5 is a really tricky age, isn't it? Because when they start school, all those big emotions come up, and there's such a big transition for them. And then, I don't know. And I guess if you've got two at the same, I can't imagine having twins and like having to deal with like double the amount of like big emotions and that kind of stuff. It must.
Yeah, and like starting school, like you would never know because they weren't able to really articulate it. But their term 1 of reception seemed really, really hard for them. But they were split up. And they're not used to being apart, every single day. So I think that was quite a big sort of adjustment for them to go through. But yeah, they settled in really well. And
Why were they split up? In what way? Like moved to?
school policy, like twins in separate classes.
Really?
Weird. Yeah. But it's a really, really good school. Like I think it's the best one in the county. And yeah, when I first heard that was the policy, my back was up straight away. I was like, oh no. But then I kind of came around to it because they do that from experience of what they have seen twins thrive, Yeah. And actually it's working really well because they are very different. And it gives them that space to thrive.
Yeah.
Play with their twin at break time with friends and stuff, but it gives them their own identity, which I think wouldn't be the same if they were in the same class. So yeah, I'm happy with the decision. But yeah, I wasn't when I first heard about it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. I've got a really close friend who's got twin girls, and I'm pretty sure they're just always together, even at school. I've just always assumed that every twin is always with their twin, obviously, like in a school environment. So yeah, that's so interesting. So tell me a little bit about how was your fertility journey? Because I know that you guys went through IVF. How was that for you?
Yeah, it was really fucking hard. I like naively thought I was pregnant the first month we tried, and then wasn't, and then like had no idea how long it was going to take. I think it was almost 5 years from when we started trying to actually getting pregnant with the girls. We had to like try for a year before we were kind of even sort of listened to by the doctors. So it was years until we even had our first round of IVF because we had to go through like, it was on the NHS. We had to go through like the cheaper kind of option. It's like IUI. So we did that 3 times and, it all takes time. So yeah, we were like years into the process before we even had IVF the first time. I did 2 fresh cycles, got pregnant both times. The first time got to the 8-week scan and there was like no heartbeat, we were told, like on the scan. And I just remember it so clearly, like the world just stopped. And that floored me. I, yeah, never known grief like it. And I went off like mental health leave from work, which I had free counseling because of the loss. And my counselor basically she gave me the permission slip to just go off sick, and it was the biggest relief. So I took the time to grieve, and I went back on a phased return, which was really helpful. And then, yeah, then we did it again, another fresh round. I was basically pregnant. My birthday's in November, and I was pregnant 3 Novembers in a row. So the second one, I got pregnant, but lost it much quicker. So it didn't floor me in the same way as the first one did. And then after that, we had a break. I remember saying to my husband, Tom, like, I'm just not ready to go like straight into treatment again. I need to catch my breath kind of thing. And like this whole time, like I'd say the first sort of 2.5 to 3 years, I was walking around with like this black cloud over me, really, really struggling mentally with it, to the point where I went down to part-time. I was a teacher before, and I went down to part-time to give me, like, to basically stay sane, right? To stay, for my sanity. Went down to part-time. Yeah, then had a little break. We booked a trip to New York, I remember. And then we did a Frozen round straight after New York. And look at like, so sort of finishing the kind of story a little bit. I did a lot of work on myself, became quite spiritual. Did a lot of inner work, and basically it made me who I am today. Like like I changed so much because of that journey.
And I pause the story there because I'm so fascinated by the inner work and the spiritual journey. But at a high level, what did that involve? Did you find meditation? Was it like did the hypnotherapy come in there, or was it?
Oh no, this is years before hypnotherapy or anything. I read a few books that kind of changed my whole outlook on life. One was called The Magic, which is all about gratitude. Like, and I thought I was a grateful person, but that kind of upped the game for me.
That's
and then basically
Burns' book, isn't it?
Yeah. And Ask and It Is Given was another one. And Playing the Matrix by Mike Dooley. And I just kind of like started to learn about the laws of the universe and energy and stuff. And looking back, like it was going from scarcity to grateful for everything I have. And I remember being in a restaurant with Tom saying, like, obviously I still want to be a mum, but I'm happy. Like, I am actually happy. And like, that was such a journey to get to that place. And literally weeks later, we were pregnant and had a really complicated pregnancy, loads of, basically I've bled most of it. So like suspected miscarriage the whole time. And I like really just learned to surrender and trust that I was going to be okay. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be kind of thing. This is off the back of having miscarried twice. So like going months and months and months with what feels like am I miscarrying? Am I not? Kind of like living on that sort of knife edge of like, who knows what's going to happen here? But yeah, it was all learning. And then I had my girls, went back to teaching after maternity leave. And it was like the first day I went in, I knew that I was done and that I was being like called. But I just really felt like I wanted to help fewer people on a more like a deeper level. And it was very kind of, what's the word, serendipitous. I just like felt called to reach out to somebody who I know had trained as a life coach and landed in a hypnotherapy course. And here we are today. I don't really do much hypnotherapy anymore. All my clients do get hypnotherapy audio that I make personally for them, but a lot of it is coaching, and all of that has kind of evolved like beautifully. But yeah, it 100% made me into the person I am today in so many ways. So yeah, it was really, really hard, but
yeah, I feel like nearly everyone I speak to who's been on their motherhood journey, whether it involved a tough fertility journey or whatever it is, just becoming a mum, I feel just changes. It just completely changes us, and now purpose. And similar thing happened with me. You know, I was reading similar kinds of books, and then I was like, I don't want to go back to working in an office. And I did go back to that, but I was like, this is, you know, when you said about just feeling pulled, I had the exact same feeling. So I can so resonate with that, because suddenly you're like, this is not what I'm here for. That sounds tough. That sounds really hard. And so your girls, because I've listened to your podcast, and I do know a little bit about the fact that, correct me here because I'm probably going to get it wrong, but is one of the eggs, was one frozen and one wasn't? Is that right?
Oh, I didn't know I shared that on the podcast actually. So yeah, it was a frozen round, and they were both embryo one from 2 different fresh cycles.
Right.
So they were, one of them was conceived and spent a year on ice.
Yeah.
Longer than the other one. It's absolutely insane. So obviously one of them we know is eldest, like Earthside, but we don't know if she's the one that was conceived first or not. Like, yeah, it's wild.
That blew my mind when, yeah, you mentioned it on one of your old podcasts, and I remember listening thinking, how does that work? I had to really compute. I was like, I don't get it, but I get it now, and that's just so nuts. Yeah. How has your kind of mindset shifts and your spiritual kind of stance fed into your parenting, do you think?
I think like the first thing that came to me was modeling, like not telling them what they should be like or what the rules are like, but actually modeling it day in, day out. Like they are, and I'm obviously blessed with like so much information about how the brain works now, and you know, like working with adults, helping them to heal from patterns that have shaped them on, you know, into a life that they don't necessarily want to have, or whatever, you know, like, so I have with me that wealth of experience of how their brain is growing and what I want to pour into them. And so much of it is about modeling and literally just being the version of yourself, like the best version of yourself that they watch, but also not in the sense of like trying to show them that you are perfect. Like that's also not overly helpful because nobody's perfect. That's a mantra, you know, like, so I'm trying to think what one of my girls did the other day. Oh yeah. So one of my girls, we bought chocolate drops, and one of them, she is such a good girl, but not from good girl conditioning, right? She is feisty. She is strong-willed. She is so, like, she tries to mother me. She's so maternal. She's so deeply feeling, so caring. She's just the most gorgeous, beautiful soul. And yeah, the other day we came home from the supermarket, and she was walking up the stairs, and we have this thing like where you come in, you wash your hands. And she was like, no, I'm going upstairs to wash my hands, mummy. And I was like, okay, pass me those chocolate drops because you don't need to take those upstairs. And I don't, Tom said that to her. And she was like, mummy, can you, I don't know, I can't remember, but long story short, basically, she got the chocolate drops and she hadn't even opened them, but she torn the top part, and she wanted to sneak away and have one upstairs when we told her, like, no, they're for later, when we kind of, I can't remember what we were doing, making with them, but we were going to use them later. And she felt this. And then how we responded to it was like with so much love. Like she could see that she massively fucked up. We did not need to come down on her like a ton of bricks at all. I sat her up on the side and I gave her this big hug, and I was like, it's okay. Like, you're feeling bad. That's okay. Like that's normal, right? If mummy does something she knows is the wrong thing to do, I'd feel bad too, and it's okay. Like, we love you so much. It's okay. Like, it's not a problem. And later on, like she in spite of all of that, we didn't have a go at her or anything at all. Like, me and Tom were just like laughing about it because it was just so innocent and so like cute, but she really felt it. And she couldn't shake it for like an hour. She was sort of mopey. And I said to her, does mummy make a mistake? No, I was like, is mummy perfect? And she was like, no. It's like, does mummy make mistakes? Yeah. It's like, do you know why I'm saying this? She was like, yeah. And it's just like, not, like modeling being the best version of yourself, but also modeling all the normal shit, right? About being a human being. Like, yes, we can be a bit snappy sometimes. And that's okay to recognize that we sometimes are a bit snappy, but we can repair that and we can immediately, you know, if we have the capacity to, but it takes a lot of inner work to be able to do this. Like, I was grown up never being apologized to. So I had to kind of relearn, like, how do I say sorry and mean it without like making things worse before that, you know? So, you know, like if I snap at her, I'm like, sorry, or anyone, you know, I would do that in front of, like, I would say that to Tom. If I snap at Tom, I say, sorry, I'm feeling a bit grumpy, like, take no notice of me or something. And I'll make sure that they hear that kind of stuff because I want them to learn what it's like to know that you're a good person and still be moody, or because they're going to have hormones, you know, when they start their periods and stuff. Like, I want them to be okay with feeling really moody one day, like irritable as fuck, and being not thinking that they're a really bad person because they're not holding all that in, you know? Like, so just modeling and verbalizing what was never verbalized to us, you know?
Absolutely. It's such a good point. I think modeling is super important. And I think it's important for people to, because often I will post things and share things and educate people on, for example, if people come to me and say, I want to stop shouting, I want to stop yelling, or I want to stop bribing, it's like, that's all brilliant. But the problem is it can be really hard to do if you haven't had your basic human needs met. Sometimes it's really hard to not shout and yell at the kids when you're feeling hangry. Like, I still do it myself, and I'm a parent coach. The other morning, I was like super snappy and I was so hungry. And I was like, guys, I'm really hungry. I need to just like grab a few crackers because I'm in a rush. I'm just going to eat some food and then I'm going to stop being a snappy mum. So just things like that, like you said, it's just, then they'll know, okay, she's not just being a total bitch for no reason. Yeah, she needs food. And then they'll learn, okay, maybe I'm going to grow up to think, okay, am I hungry? Because I always say to my eldest, he can't sort of put two and two together with his brain and his body saying, like, giving each other the messages. And I'm like, I think you might need a wee. I think you might be hungry. But if it comes from me, he'll just get annoyed and he'll just straight away say no because he's very strong-willed. Whereas if I kind of, yeah, I guess it's that modeling of saying, look, okay, I really need a wee, or I'm really hungry. I'm going to go and do that thing, and then we'll all be good. So yeah, I love that. Are your girls, you said earlier they're really different. Do you have like one that's super empathetic and one that's really, because my kids are so different and it's really interesting comparing them, but also trying not to compare, but like trying, like managing them in such different ways. Do you have that?
Yeah, so they are so different. So the one that I've been speaking about, she's older by half an hour and she loves to tell everybody she meets. Like she's your strong-willed big sister. She's bigger in frame and she sees herself as the big sister and all of that jazz. She's the one that's deeply feeling, very maternal, very caring, all the rest of it. The other one couldn't give a shit. she is so in her own world. She is so playful, imaginative, musical, fun-loving, just gets so much joy and excitement out of life. And she's nowhere near as empathetic as the other one. And that can cause friction when my empathetic one isn't, like, for example, Millie, the one who is in her own world, playful, all of that, the little one, if she falls over and hurt herself, Sienna will run and get her bunny, give her hugs, do everything she can to make her feel better. Whereas if Cece falls down, it just doesn't come naturally for Millie to think, right, bunny, cuddles, are you okay? Give her what she needs. Like, so Sienna will get offended that Millie's not meeting her needs the way she would meet Millie's needs. And so we are sort of coaching and trying to teach Millie that, you know, when Sienna hurts herself, she wants to feel your love. She knows you love her, but she wants you to feel it. Can you do that? So now, like, she will go and get bunny automatically, stuff like that. But it doesn't come naturally to her. They're very, very different, but we celebrate those differences in a way. Like, another thing that we're kind of moving through at the moment is one to reading like a duck to water, and absolutely like loves it. She just wants to get better and better and better. So she'll choose to read in her own time. And the other one, Millie, not so much. She'd much rather draw, much rather play, much rather sing. She's not interested in it. She can do it, but the gap is getting bigger because Sienna loves it and will do it all the time. Millie, not so much. And I'm aware of how easily you can just make her believe. So, she'll see her sister being amazing. She'll know she's not as good as that. So she can easily be like, I'm sick or whatever.
Yeah.
Not needing any kind of experience other than just witnessing that her sister is really good and feeling it is more difficult. She can still fall that limiting belief.
Yeah.
And that's going to hold her back. That's going to not make her want to try all of those. Another thing that possibly is into the mix is Millie had an operation at the end of reception on her ears. So she couldn't hear much the whole year of reception. So that could have made her more in her own world and like not listening as much because she literally couldn't hear. So yeah, we really try and model that everybody is good at something and you get to celebrate that. And it doesn't matter if you're not naturally good at something, you can still try, you can still have fun and all of that kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's just building like confidence, resilience, self-belief, and knowing that you don't need external validation to feel good, right? If you, like, for example, if one of them has mildly offended the other, we can get in this like downward negative spiral where the other one will be like, I don't like what you're wearing. And then it's like, Mummy, she did that. I'm like, do you like it? Yes. Okay, that's all that matters, right? Because it doesn't matter what other people think. If you like your outfit, that's literally all that matters.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So
oh, it's so funny. Like my kids do that all the time. They're just coming to, they're always like grassing each other up, but coming to me. But they won't go to Adam. They'll just only come to me. And it's just hilarious. But yeah, I do the same thing. I'm just like, you don't have to worry about what other people think. You really don't. And I think that's hard because sometimes as human beings, like we're animals as well, we're mammals and we want to be part of the tribe. So it is going to come naturally that we do care what people think. But I think it's just drumming it into them like, please don't grow up to be a person that is like fearing judgment. And yeah.
And that's another thing. Like when I said that we've got a twin that's more dominant, we've had to work hard to make sure that, like, because I had an older brother growing up and I remember being scared of him because he's more dominant, right? And I was like, I'm not having, because they share a bedroom and most of the time it's great, but there's been some moments where like I've had to come and rescue because Sienna is like threatening to whatever. And I'm like, no, we are not having this. It is not okay for your sister to be scared of you.
Yeah.
And drumming that in over and over and over again. You use your words. It's okay to be feeling how you're feeling, but we're going to resolve this calmly in a way that has everybody feeling valued and not fucking scared in their own home. That is not okay.
Yeah, that's so it actually just triggered a memory in me because I also had an older brother. I'm a middle child with two brothers and I honestly, and he was like the golden child. And I do remember feeling quite a lot of the time. There was all, boys, they're so different. Like they are so physical. Like we do encourage a bit of roughhousing because I know it's important for them to like get that energy out. And we actually do. Adam and the boys every evening will have like a proper play fight. And it's, I know it's healthy for them and I know it's a good thing to do. But I do, when you were just saying that, remember my older brother like being quite physical and he was massive and I was like quite a petite girl and just like physically getting beaten up. And my mum just she was a very permissive parent. She didn't have enough control over it. And I don't remember I would have loved to have had someone say what you just said. It's hard, isn't it, to like manage it. But also if you were raised in a way where I used to permissive parenting, it's actually really hard to just relearn that and admire it. So do you get a lot of squabbling with your girls or do they generally get on it's probably a mixture, is it? Do they get on quite well?
Yeah, generally they get on. Obviously, like they don't get on like husband about all the time. Like there's squabbles every day, but on the whole, really, like I was gonna say we're lucky, but we've worked hard to foster a relationship where they are best friends, where they are a team. Never this one versus that one. It's always team them versus us. Like who can get their seatbelts on the fastest, twinnies or mummy kind of thing. It's them together, not them against each other. and like really fostering this team vibe. And we say like stuff like at Friday night when we kiss them and, you know, say goodnight, like, I'm really looking forward to spending the weekend with you, or thank you for a lovely day. Like, I've had so much fun today, and I, you know, can't wait to spend Sunday with you tomorrow. And just like all this stuff that, you know, well, if you're lucky, you know, your parents felt about you, but they probably never said it.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's saying that stuff that really matters, that is going to make them fall asleep feeling so loved and so excited to spend time with family. And that includes the twin sister.
Absolutely. I love that. Just know they're just hearing it. And I sometimes do this like similar stuff, and I might make it so that one of the kids is in earshot, and I'll deliberately say to my husband, "Oh, Freddie was amazing today. They played so well at the play," and just totally big them up so that he can hear like how much love there is in the house towards them. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. When it comes to, because I talk a lot about like stress, anxiety, burnout, and that kind of thing with my clients. I'm sure you probably have a similar thing with your clients at work. But when it comes to the domestic load with you and your husband, when you're, you know, sharing things and the girls kind of, you know, seeing what's being modeled to them there and thinking about the future and their future partners, how do you do you kind of balance it out quite well at home?
Yeah, we do. We still have our like stereotypically male and female jobs. Like, he will do the DIY and I will do the washing, and like that's fine. Like, I'm not trying to buck a trend or whatever. We do what we sort of gravitate towards, and that's fine. But it is very well split. Like, and he does most of the cooking, to be fair. And yeah, it is nicely split. It definitely isn't all on me because I'm the woman or whatever. I do a bit more childcare because I run my own business, whereas he works full time, but he works at home, so he's around, which is nice. Like, they are watching us model what it looks like to have like equal responsibility in the household, not that whole kind of archaic mum has to literally do everything and is last at the bottom of the pile. Like, that is not what they're witnessing. And it goes like beyond that as well, you know, because I'm aware that everything that they are observing is what they are being programmed as to what they're going to experience later on in life. So they're going to grow up looking for a relationship where they are treated well, like valued, not disrespected, not all of the stuff that you wouldn't want for them. Because like, my husband is such an amazing husband and father. Like, they are witnessing me be loved, and they are witnessing us have fun together, and, you know, like, prioritize ourselves as well. You know, like, it's really important that we like, that's our relationship anyway. But like, I get how important it is for them to see what a healthy relationship looks like. For example, if we do have our disagreements, like, we will absolutely press pause and wait until they are asleep, and we will get on with our day because we are mature adults. And I do, like, no shame on like anybody who kind of does this or anything, but my parent, like, I think I'm really sort of especially passionate about this because my parents divorced, and I was the only teenager in my group of friends with divorced parents. Like, everybody else's parents stayed together. So I want to protect, like, not saying I think me and Tom are going to break up, but like, if we have our disagreements, you know, they will not witness that. Obviously, like, mini disagreements and stuff, but it's healthy for them to see conflict managed well and not blow up and resolved in front of them. But if it goes beyond that, whereby we need time to air our disagreements and go back and forth and hash it out, we will press pause and we will get on with our day. We will be respectful. We will try our very best not to let them realize anything is up. And once they're asleep, then we'll have a talk. But I'm not having them hear or witness arguments or anything, because it's going in. Everything is going in. Even when you don't think they're listening, they are listening. Like, they are sponges. And so I can't remember that. Oh yeah, I want them to have healthy relationships when they grow up. So it's important that they have that blueprint by having it modeled to.
Yeah.
The only thing they're going to know when they grow up.
Yeah, it will be so alien to them to settle for anything less than, you know, Tom and how he's been with you. And that's what's wonderful about being mindful in and conscious in your, not just parenting, but in your relationship as well. And I think once you've done that mindset work and you learn about coaching or the brain or, the nervous system, you realize I can't just know this stuff and not implement it into my own life and my own parenting, my own relationship. For example, for me, similar to you, I was the only one out of my friends that had parents who were divorced. And it was really hard because it wasn't just a divorce that happened when I was at the age of 16. It was actually just a mixture of lots of chaos throughout my whole childhood. But I only realised that when I was older. It's like, oh yeah, it was actually super chaotic. And like for a child to go through that for years and years and years and years, when the parents are pretending everything's okay, we'll do the divorce when they're older, when they can handle it. Actually, you're not just listening to arguments, but you're sensing that you're not safe. You're sensing that in my home where I'm supposed to feel safe, everything feels confusing. But to realize that in like your 30s is like, oh shit, I've got loads to unlearn. So yeah, that's a really interesting point you raised there. Do you know what's it? Just kind of off the back of that, someone had posted something recently on a Facebook group, I think it was, to do with parenting. And they were basically saying it was a conversation about authoritarian parenting and smacking and that kind of stuff. And a load of people were like, I think there was a video and this person was saying, I think you just need to give them some discipline and just smack them. All these horrible comments, agreeing with that kind of style of old school parenting. And all I kept thinking was, yeah, but that's the easy way. It's actually so much harder. Like you're literally being lazy because you're following what you're used to, or you're following something where you think you just shut the kids down. It's so much harder to actually unlearn and come up with your new version of parenting. And it's hard work, isn't it?
I went away with my mum and my girls to visit some older relatives a couple of years ago. And it was just me, my mum and the girls. And she doesn't praise, right? Like it is alien to her to praise me, and that's fine. Like I've dealt with that, but it meant so much in the car on the way back. We're coming back from Devon, and I said to her, like, what have you learned by spending so much time with us, kind of thing? And she was like, I cannot believe how you just stay calm so much. And they were like, my stronghold one was in a phase where she was pushing every boundary, and at one point my mum was trying to support me and get involved, but like using lots of shame tactics and threat. And I was like, Mum, go, it's fine, I've got this, kind of thing. And I just held my cool. I managed it the whole 72 hours, exactly like, just, it's like you say, it's hard work, but it's worth it. And you do that work because you believe in it so much. And in the car on the way home, she was like, I just can't believe you kept your cool for like the whole time. She pushed every single button and you still managed to say cool. I was like, Mum, do you think I'm putting on an act for you when you spend time with us normally? Like, yes, it's hard work, but that is it day in day out. I'm not putting on a show for you. And I think she was just a little bit like taken aback that it is like it gets to be that way when you really do the work. You can show up how you want to show up all the time without resorting to, it's still hard, really hard, because you're doing your cycle breaker. You're doing it different to the way it's done to you. It's your body remembers how you were treated when you were that age. So everything in you is wanting to say the thing that would shut it down really quickly, right? But you're fighting it. You're not going to do that. And it is fucking hard work.
Yeah.
But it really meant a lot for her to kind of recognize that and say what she did. So.
Oh, that's lovely that she said that. It's really stressful being going to family events or like little trips with the older family members. I find the dynamic completely changes, and it can be super stressful, can't it? When you know that.
Yeah. We've come to blows over it. When the girls were toddlers, I asked a hypothetical question. The girls have spent the whole day with Nanny, and you like when you're a grandparent, you get like grandparent privileges. They literally hold everything in, don't they, to just blow up on you the minute they walk through the door. So that's what happened. Like one of them blew up on me, and I asked a hypothetical question like, why is she so hard for me, and not you, kind of thing. And my mum just accidentally blurted out, because you're too soft on her. And I was like, get the fuck out of my house. I didn't say that, but like she was leaving anyway. And I kind of, I had to have a conversation with her a few days later. I was like, Mum, whatever you think about my parenting, everything I'm doing is conscious. I am choosing to do it this way because of my job. Like, I know how the brain works. Like, I literally help people as an adult who haven't been parented this way, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Hold your comments back. It
Yeah.
took her a while to really understand what I mean. And that was years before this trip that we just went away on. No, don't just went away on, but yeah, like she gets it now, but I think she was watching and just like, why aren't you doing it the way I did it to you? Kind of thing. I never had this problem there. But you're playing a long game when you parent consciously, aren't you? It's the long game, and it's so well.
Definitely. Yeah, I've had similar things as well. It is hard work because you know that you know what they're thinking, and just like, I wish you weren't here right now because I could see you doing it, and it just makes it really hard. So, oh, wonderful. I think we're probably at time now, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But thank you so much. The way you speak about everything is so fascinating, and I love hearing about your girls and the way that you parent, and can just imagine how lovely things are at home. But all the hard work, sounds like it's paying off. And I think that a lot of people are going to listen to this and get some lovely nuggets and insights, and hopefully implement things at home a little bit differently. So where can people find you, Jenna? What are your socials? And if people want to check out what you do, where can people find you?
Maybe on Instagram. That's kind of my place where I kind of show up the most. So my Instagram is I am Jenna Holloway. And I have a podcast as well, which is called Bigger Than You. And it's mainly a mindset podcast for business owners who want to make more impact, but do it in a way that doesn't sacrifice their needs and their peace and their time and all the things. So yeah, those two places mostly.
Brilliant. Yes, take a listen to Jenna's podcast. It's really good. I literally have listened to I want to say almost every episode probably. So yeah.
Wow.
I know. I got addicted. A few months ago, I got addicted and was listening to it for like a month straight. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Amazing. Thank you,
Jenna.
Thank you so much.
Bye.